Hello there.
Hi,
Hi.
there. I'm taking minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. 3 of us, 4 of us. Um, What am I doing here? Yes. Um, yeah. Well, I guess I shouldn't be too impatient, should I?
No, but thank you for making the link clickable.
I did. I finally figured it out.
Thank you.
It's not so hard. It's actually really easy. Once you know the secret.
To clickability.
Yes.
It's much easier. Well, slightly easier.
Oh my. So do you think spring is really here for real?
You know, I
No,
walked by your house today and the rabbits have not eaten your tulips.
That's
Oh.
good.
Yeah,
they've
don't-
you're
eaten,
lucky.
they've eaten mine, including the bulbs, everything. They dug them up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have no secret other than perhaps 3 dogs.
I think that's your secret. The bunnies know that.
You have a paved area near where the tulips are.
Oh, that's true. They're surrounded
There
by
are no
paved-
rabbit
yeah,
holes there.
yeah, that's a good point. The dogs are rarely there, but their dogs are definitely out in the backyard. And their mission in life is to keep Nahant safe from squirrels and rabbits.
Can you bring them over to Valley Road, please? I've got a problem with bunnies in my yard too.
Oh, yes.
Hmm.
Wait, it's Madeline, Tiny Tim, and
Gracie.
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 I got 2 of the 3 this time.
Yeah, you got 2. That's good. That's good. So since you are taking minutes,
I am,
I assume that means Julie will not be with us.
correct.
Okay.
Barbara, is Julie dialing into the CPC meeting? Is that why?
Well, okay, not for this is her last night with her sister down in Florida.
Oh,
And so I, said, yes, enjoy your last night with your sister.
Absolutely.
okay.
Good. Good move. All right. Well, we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. So that is a quorum, I believe. All right. So anyway, so let's get going. All right. I suppose first let's officially call the meeting to order at 7:02. And from the Finance Committee, we have Bob Vanderslice, Barbara Beatty, Deborah Warren, Dana Sheehan, and Peter Barba. And we're joined by Allison as well. Hello, Allison. Thank you. And I didn't see minutes from the last meeting.
I think she did send them, but for some
She did.
reason
I think there may be some.
that was, what's the date? Was that the 30th? 29th?
That
If I can find them.
is the 30th.
Julie sent around some documents that we asked for from Sharon Hawks, but she didn't send minutes.
I'm not finding.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I was having problems, so I apologize. I'm back.
Right. No worries.
I did say earlier, Dan McMacken, I spoke to him earlier today, and he is unable to attend.
Ah, okay.
And DeWitt Brown is not going to attend either.
All right. Well, they they may get stuff assigned to them then. All right. So it's kind of looking like we have no minutes to approve.
Correct.
Okay, so let's do this. What I had hoped to do, this is Zoom, I have to hit share as well. I am now screen sharing. So do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
All right, awesome. Here we go. So let's get ourselves organized with the articles. All right, so here's the deal. For each article, we need to have a recommendation and a short amount of text that supports whatever our recommendation is. Our recommendation is typically either recommended, not recommended, or no recommendation. And there's a not so subtle difference between no recommendation not recommended and no recommendation. Not recommended means, our advice is to the contrary of whatever this article is. Please do not approve this article, I guess. And no recommendation is like just what it says. We're not going to speak either way on this article. We are leaving it up to you, the townspeople. This is really your, it's up to you to vote your conscience, and we, the finance committee, choose not to make a recommendation on this one.
Hey, Bob, can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Is that language somewhere in the bylaws? I mean, could we do it differently, maybe? We could support or oppose or come up with no recommendation.
I don't know whether that's in the bylaws or not. I will check it out.
I mean, that would make it more clear to the people of the town, I believe,
Yeah, no, I agree with you that there is confusion sometimes between not recommended and no recommendation. So yeah, let's kind of take that under advisement, and
Okay,
let me look at the bylaws and see if that the recommended, not recommended language is in the bylaws or not.
So basically a basic question, Bob. So when it comes to articles and making motions and things like that, I assume like Article 1 transfers is kind of a standard language. I think
Yep.
we probably use it every year.
Yep.
And it's okay. And it's literally like, I have last year's warrant book in front of me. So I'm just kind of looking at it to get kind of a gist or a feel for this.
Like this look familiar?
Yes, I'm kind of looking at that right now. Actually, I'm looking, I'm at Article 1.
All right, let me go to Article 1. So yeah, this is
I mean,
perfect.
Article 1 is, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate and or appropriate funds from the funds in the treasury and or transfer the following sums or take any action relative thereto. And I assume that along with that, there may be some dollar, as I recall town meetings, somebody would say, I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yep. I mean, you're absolutely right. So, yes. So every article gets this one. When we went to press was a no recommendation because they hadn't finalized it. So that's what our little paragraph here says.
Okay,
Okay. When this is finalized, there's like a table down below it that says we're transferring these amounts from these line items into other places.
okay, cool.
Okay. And all right, so that's that. When you get to town meeting, there is a motion that is the words that are read on town meeting floor. So somebody was usually, well, it's us actually, stands
Right.
up, says, I move, and you read from the script. The motion may be different than what is published in the book. It can't be like, it can't be completely 100% on a different topic. It has to be on the same topic.
Right,
But there
right.
can be differences between the words that we will read on town hall floor and get voted on town hall floor and what's in the book. And it's the
Okay.
motion
Bob,
that tops.
I have a question.
Yep.
Does the content have to be the same, though?
Yes.
The substance
Yeah.
has to be the same.
The substance.
Substance.
The wording.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can't have an article that's talking about borrowing money for the sewer and you read a motion that is about a zoning bylaw change. Right. So
But the details of the thing we can't change details around between the,
well, yeah, we could change,
read.
my simple, stupid example, we might change the dollar amount or put some restrictions on it or something like that, but the substance of it has to be the same.
As I
Okay.
recall, because I once added a little aside in the middle of a motion that I was reading,
Yeah.
that I then was told that, no, have to go back and read it exactly.
Correct.
It has to be exactly, because whatever is there is like a legally binding thing. The words are magic words, or I don't.
Exactly. I mean, Dave was very kind,
Yes.
and he did it in his usual charming manner, but he was very definite that
Mhm.
I had to go back and
Yep.
read the exact words with no little
Can you excuse yourself?
intersplicing myself, in which I tried to say something, I don't know,
Right.
whatever, charming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, charming is cool, but not when you're reading the motion.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's kind of the way it works. What we have done, what the finance committee has historically done, is assign a person who is responsible for each of the articles, and responsible means writing that short paragraph or couple of paragraphs that support whatever our recommendation is. So right there, that I think that's thing number one we ought to try to get accomplished tonight, is let's just try to assign a person to every one of these right now 32 articles.
Bob, I'll take the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund.
Okay, excellent. I was going
Number 7.
number.
Bob, I have a question. What is the input that we get from which to write the little paragraphs that we write?
You guys are awesome. Um, the way we've done it in the past is we usually schedule an evening to talk about the articles and then vote them. And it's actually more than one evening. Generally, it kind of goes on for a little while. And we will vote a recommendation. And the person that's writing the article typically kind of listens closely to the conversation and the debate that surrounds us voting that recommendation and tries to summarize that into the paragraph.
Okay, and does anyone edit our recommendations
Well,
that we write?
that's been a recent process changed for us. So, all right, anyway, so you if you are in charge of an article, you may find yourself in the position of having to write a recommendation that is at odds with what you believe, if in fact the committee has voted to the contrary of whatever you believe. You know, and I guess if you're uncomfortable with that, let us know and we'll flip some stuff around.
No, but Bob, Deborah was asking about editing after we've
Yeah,
written the drafts. And my recollection, very clear recollection from last time around, is that we did the editing on, with online. We all looked at it.
yes.
And so we went through it one by one and we
Yep.
commas and periods and
Yep.
et cetera.
Yeah, and that's been a relatively recent change. So yes, we and I would recommend we keep doing that. Is we will collectively read that recommendation and be sure it's kind of in the spirit of what was discussed. It's grammatically correct. It's punctuated properly. Blah blah blah. You know, I think a previous committee was there was a recommendation, a long recommendation, and a very controversial recommendation that was written by a private or a prior committee that it wasn't even seen by a bunch of the committee before it went to press. And it has proved embarrassing.
Bob,
So-
to add to that, though, I mean, if I understand we want to all be in agreement with the language there. Some may be opposed to what the committee votes for. You know, maybe there's a chance for that person to write a dissenting opinion to go along with it. But I want to go back to, like, if we go through and edit every one of these, do we have the time to do that? I mean, it seemed to take a
Yeah.
lot of time.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that, you know, that for some of these that are just really straightforward, we don't have to spend a lot of time on them.
Yeah, keep that hope alive. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so we should be spending our time on the ones that are more controversial, I guess is the best word I've got for now.
I
Right,
agree.
so I put together this little whatever tracker thing. So what I did was I went through the most recent copy of the warrant article that I found on that shared drive on our Dropbox thing, was dated March 18th. And I just kind of summarized it onto this spreadsheet. So here's the number of the article and kind of the title of the article, which should be enough to do what we need to do tonight. The selectmen will often renumber them. So I've got a spot here for the new number. If they decide to renumber them, there's the title. What I'd like to do tonight is assign somebody as the person responsible for it. So we need to drop a name into here. And then the rest of these are our columns are just for our own sanity in trying to keep track of what's going on. So article language final means nobody's going to change the words in the article. They're happy with it. Their final, final words are available. And Allison, I don't know, are you still with us?
Yep, I'm here.
So, I mean, you can help us with that one. I don't know, which of these,
With
clearly.
which one?
Well, the whole are we looking at the final language of the article?
Yeah, so as of 4 o'clock today, I got another draft of the warrant that did renumber some of these articles and added an article.
Okay, that's fine.
So I can let you know as we go along through here. And I don't think it's finalized. Tony wants to finalize it tomorrow for vote by the selectmen on Wednesday.
So
Okay.
are there 25 articles now?
No, there are, let me see.
33.
33.
Yeah, I think we've cut one out. There's 32 on the draft Tony sent me today.
Okay,
Cut out one.
cut out one. All right.
Hey, Bob, to expedite, I can take on a couple more of these if nobody else wants to do them.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Property
let me quickly talk through this just so everybody's clear. Voted recommendation is if we have voted it, what is our recommendation? So in our tracker, blank means we haven't voted it yet, and whatever we vote will drop in there. So that'll either say recommended, not recommended, or no recommendation. Just a place to drop in the date on which we voted it. This are the words written? And have we approved the words that were written? Have we reviewed and approved the words that are written? So that's the purpose of this, is just to try to keep us sane and know what we've done and what remains to be done. So can we kind of just go through this and let's start assigning people to articles? And I guess my only kind of guidance or thought or scheme here is, if the article is related to a department that you are the liaison for, you would be a logical person to write the recommendation for that article. So transfers, I guess I'm going to volunteer for that one. Snow and ice is sort of DPW. And I think, Dana, that's you and Bill, right? Or DeWitt?
DeWitt and I did the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund. The DPW, that was somebody else.
Okay. How quickly can I find it? Haha, pretty quick. Let's see. So DPW Public Works was Judy and Peter. Peter, you want to do snow and ice?
All right, I'm sorry, Bob. I had to step away. I had an emergency. So I haven't been here for about 10 minutes.
All right, everything okay?
Yeah, my mom just fell. I just had to help.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I would do snow and ice.
Okay.
I could even do transfers if you want. I mean, those seem like they're pretty, like almost paper, what do you call it? Cookie cutter?
Yeah, they are pretty.
Boilerplate.
Yeah, so I can give you some background, Peter. Right now for the transfers, I only have one item that we're probably going to have for that article. So I already have that ready. And then snow and ice, we've paid all of the snow and ice bills, so I have a number for that too. So those are pretty standard.
Great.
I would like to say, since I'm new, also anything like Peter, anything that's not too thorny, I would be more than happy to do.
Okay. And by the way, just the drill with snow and ice is you are allowed to overspend that account in the omnibus. And to my knowledge, it's the only one that works that way. So generally when we vote the budget, there's some sort of a nominal sum in there, like 30,000 or something like that, that we vote in the omnibus article. And then the next year, the following year, there is an article to catch up. So you have an article to pay the difference between the 30,000 that you voted the prior year and what it actually turned out to be. So that's what that article is all about.
Yeah, so snow and ice, actually by Massachusetts finance law, you can overspend, like you said. You don't actually have to do a transfer at the end of the year. It is the one item that you can raise it on the tax recap. So some communities do that. So they raise it as part of the tax rate in the following year. Nahant historically has been able to cover the difference, like you said, but
Does that mean it's outside 2.5 then?
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the only item that is.
So there's kind of an opportunity there, perhaps. All right, but for now, it is what it is. All right, salary and classification plan, compensation for elected positions. I'm going to take these two unless somebody wants to tackle them. I don't know why, but I've historically had them. And if somebody wants them, you're welcome to it. Let's see. Some of these, by the way, what I'm going to do as we go through this is just see if we have a sense of the committee. So whoever gets to write it can start to, think about your words. All right, the omnibus is the omnibus. Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund. Dana, you volunteered for that already. Water.
You can put DeWitt on there too. Well, I'll just take it. That's all right.
You can take it, and whatever, there'll be another one that we'll give to.
All right.
To do that. Water and sewer paving. So whoever's got public works, it's either, so Peter or Judy. You care? We already gave a bunch to Peter, so.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, Rubbish Enterprise Fund.
I was on that as
Happy to
well.
do that. Or is someone already responsible for that?
Well, I had the enterprise accounts. I mean, I met with, my name was on those, so Rubbish Enterprise and actually Water and Sewer, but Dana's taking that, which is fine.
Okay.
So Peter, I did compost last year. If you're looking to, pass on that.
And I'll pass to you, Dana.
Judy is particularly passionate about this one.
The compost area?
Yeah.
We'll let her have it then.
Yeah, really. She's not here.
I know, exactly. Exactly. Recreation revolving fund.
Didn't Julie do that? The recreation? I think so.
Yeah, and for some of these, like, the water and sewer enterprise funds, well, actually, water and sewer, you may find yourself writing some stuff, Dana, because we pulled up a chunk out of retained earnings.
Right.
They'll probably want to mention that. Anyway, revolving funds, give this to Julie as well.
Sure.
OPEB. I forget what OPEB is what.
Yeah, what is
Retirement or old folks, pensions, isn't it?
Other post-employment benefits.
Oh
So
my
this
God.
is just to appropriate funds to the OPEB account.
So this is retirement and
Pension?
pension?
It's actually health insurance benefits for retirees. We appropriate an amount into a fund because at some point we're going to have to fully fund our liability. So all towns have to set aside money each year.
I'll do that.
Okay, was that you, Deborah?
That was Deborah. Yep.
Do we, just out of oh, it's health insurance. It's not pension, it's health insurance. She's shaking her head violently up and down. Okay.
Yes, correct. The retirement appropriation falls under the omnibus.
Yeah, okay. And just, this is a curious question on my part. Do we know our unfunded liability?
Yeah, so we have to get an actuarial analysis done by a third party every year. I haven't received the report yet for this year, but once I get that, we will know.
All right, that would be an interesting disclosure for,
Mm-hmm.
And where were we last year?
Sorry, I just muted myself. Let me, while you're going through this, let me try to pull up last year's report and I can let you know that number.
Thanks.
It's a
Just so
big
we-
number.
Thank you.
I can take stabilization because I'm also going to do the fire truck and the, well, yeah, I'm doing the fire truck. And if you want me to do the highway, I can do that one also. Yep.
Paving goes to DPW people.
we don't, okay. Oh, which is not you, right?
It's not us.
Is that
Judy.
Judy and,
That's
Judy.
Judy, you and Judy.
yeah,
Okay, I don't know what this one is. Release funds from transportation network. This is an
Allison?
Allison, help.
Yeah, so every community gets money back from the state. It's based on the number of ride shares that come into your town. And there's some proportion of that number that you get back. Our numbers like for FY, and then once you get it back, you have to appropriate it at town meeting for use. Our number under this article is like $500.
Oh, so this is like, we get pennies from everybody's Uber ride? that comes
Correct.
to town?
yeah,
Yep,
it's a tax and then we get it back, which is kind of cool, but
it's
So
a
is
very
this a-
small number.
I
Okay.
volunteer.
Not very excited.
For $500, I volunteer.
So to be exact, it's $590.20.
Oh, okay. You're sure about that?
I'm
So-
positive.
so we need to find a place for $509.90 to where we're gonna put it?
So it has to go towards like roadway improvements.
Okay,
So we'll just appropriate it into like the paving article.
okay.
So how does this work? So the town meeting will vote on it and that allows us to bring it into the general fund?
It just it allows you to spend it.
It allows us to spend
Yeah,
it.
because the money comes into the general fund. So town meeting has to approve it so that you're able to spend it.
So
It's kind of foolish how it was set up.
okay, so town meeting has to approve the receipt of these funds and it's expended through the omnibus article. But how does it show
No,
up?
so it's not spent through the omnibus. I'll probably end up transferring it to a capital account where we have like our paving and road construction money because it has to go back into our roadways.
Okay. This sounds like a lot of work for,
For 500
is.
bucks.
Yeah, it just started a few years ago. I remember when this came out, I was working in Marblehead and I thought it was foolish too. So yeah, it is kind of cumbersome, but it's the fact that the money comes into the general fund, town meeting has to appropriate it.
It sounds like the write-up's gonna be maybe 2 sentences anyway, so.
yeah, it's not it's not going to be long. It's going to be
Right.
in relation to the size of the amount. All right, community preservation.
Julie was going to those meetings.
And I was too. So there's going to be a number of sub-articles there.
Right.
It's going to be kind of a big job, so.
Yeah, this one's always a big job. So I can put you both on it as soon as.
Yeah.
um,
You can do that.
As soon as Excel lets me write something here.
Hi, everyone. It's Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we're in the process of running through the articles and assigning people to them. And along the way, we're discovering what some of these actually are. We're using the March 18th version, which was the latest one I found on the Dropbox, but it sounds like there's not that much difference. The order may change, but
Yeah, the order. I was making some edits today.
okay. All right, so sewer infrastructure, this is the 20 million?
Yes.
All right, so
Is that, and I don't want to, Dana, are you the one that's most versed in this?
Actually, we
Yeah,
don't have
they-
Dan down. McNacken,
I don't
And-
believe Dan is going to be at town meeting.
he
I
is,
believe,
right?
I think he has a wedding or something that he has to go to.
Oh, so
I
he
do
won't
not-
be there because he knows a lot about the sewer engineering and everything.
Why
Right,
couldn't he
right.
write it and someone else read it?
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
so what are we thinking? You're thinking McMacken on this one?
Yeah. And then we can have someone else read it.
Yeah.
Is this who's reading the motion, or is this the who's writing the recommendation?
Who is writing the recommendation?
Recommendation.
Right.
And we can either do it now or at the end of the meeting. I think it would be helpful to just have a conversation now and kind of get a sense of the committee on where we are on this one. So Dan can start to form some thoughts and put some words on paper and not get caught out at the last minute.
Should we wait till he's attending a meeting?
Even better idea.
I mean, this is to decide whether we as a committee are going to recommend that
Yeah.
we move forward with the 20 million.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, all right.
All right, so let's hold the conversation. Sewer capital, what is this one?
This is using retained earnings to purchase a front-end loader and a small dump truck.
So retained earnings from the enterprise fund.
Yes.
So Dana, that seems like it goes along with the enterprise fund.
Yes, we covered that. I'll be happy to take that.
Okay. MWRA borrowing, Bill Brown has historically been kind of on top of that one. Fire truck, Barbara already volunteered, chapter 90, we've already got covered. Property tax exemptions, number 23.
I can do that as well if you want. I've been staying on top of the new veterans property tax exemption, so I kind of know about it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Stormwater bylaw, this one I don't know about.
The lowlands?
Yeah, that would be
No,
me.
This isn't lowlands. This is different. This is a requirement of our MS4 stormwater permit with the federal government. And we have to make changes to our stormwater bylaw to be in compliance. So this is more of a policy article. There's no funding really attached to it. It doesn't change. Our current stormwater bylaw only applies to the planning board and only applies to any disturbance of over an acre. This article actually adds to the stormwater bylaw an administrative process for the Concom for anything between 600 square feet and 1 acre.
So it's a policy that basically is required. I mean, I could take this one. This one seems fairly cut and dry.
Yeah, and we're gonna, I don't know if you're around tomorrow, Peter, but we're gonna be talking, me and Dan Scripp are gonna be talking about it tomorrow night with the planning board on their meeting.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have a meeting scheduled already. I wouldn't be able to attend.
Well, it's an open invite to anybody it's
Yeah.
a public meeting.
What's ZBA membership?
Yeah, what is ZBA membership? I don't know what this one is either.
Well, Peter, when you became a member of the FinCom, you screwed everything up for us.
Of course. That was my intent.
This is a charter change article. Our charter says 3 members, but our zoning bylaw says 3 or 5. And historically, we've used 5 members. So what this article will do will actually seek to change the charter to say 5. If passed, it then goes to a ballot vote at probably the next annual election. So April of next year. So basically what we're doing here is just trying to, you can't really have a bylaw that conflicts with the charter. And in practice, we've always used 5 members on the ZBA. So Peter, I talked to Jocelyn a little bit about this. I mean, you're a former member of the ZBA. It makes more sense to go with 5 members. That's what you have historically done.
Yep.
But we need to resolve that conflict between the bylaw, what we do, and what the charter says.
Okay. I can take this one if you want to, Bob.
I've got you in mind. I'm gonna jump ahead, but
I'll take the Committee on Aging Kitchen.
That one is actually not going to happen anymore.
Okay. Now, the public safety building study, Dan and I talked about that a lot. It came up with, when we were doing both fire and police. So I don't know if you want to put both of us on that. And Beatty, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
We
Well,
met,
geez,
we got our scope from the architect. We got an updated price on that. So, for phase 1, the feasibility study, and phase 2, the schematic design, you're in the $450,000 to $525,000 range. For just doing the feasibility phase 1, you're in like the $125,000 range. So we've changed our approach here to just do phase 1, use $125,000 of the free cash instead of $225,000, and no borrowing.
Makes sense.
Yeah. One other thing, Tony, I don't know if this committee, the FinCom, has actually decided to move forward with a combined building or not yet. I mean, this issue's been studied for many years, and
It would be part of it's part of that phase 1. So they look at the existing buildings, they look at, an alternative analysis about either investing in the existing buildings, replacing the existing buildings, combining the two into a new building. So all of that is still on the table.
There was a study done in 2016, I believe. That was sort of a preliminary study. I don't think it was a phase one, but.
No, they just did like a needs assessment. It was only, it was like $14,000, I think.
Right.
They didn't get really far.
Well, with the phase one, Tony, would that be enough to go forward with the grant applications to try to get some funds for these buildings?
I think that grant applications for funding for phase two, the schematic design isn't, those aren't impossible, but they're not as competitive as, going for grant money for phase three, which would actually be construction dollars. So, we get through phase one, you get public support for, what the future concept is going to be. And then you go and try and get funding either through grants or borrowing or use free cash, whatever our source of funds is, to, bring that concept to a, shovel-ready design, permitted. And then you're going for funding for construction after that.
Tony, I got to say that 125,000 makes me feel much more comfortable than the 500 we originally talked about. So, I understand. Thank you.
Tony, I agree. That's something
Yeah.
that, this sounds like it's the right ballpark.
Me
for the
too.
beginning.
I like this better. I like not, I see the, the point in trying to get funding for both phase one and two, so you don't lose momentum. But I understand and agree with, not borrowing funds for something you haven't gone through that public process yet. So this is less money and it's not borrowed money. I think this is the way to go for now. Good first step.
Wait, Tony, where is this money coming from?
Free cash.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and the deliverable out of this is essentially what? It's going to be some alternatives and a ranking or a recommendation amongst those alternatives. One of the alternatives being do nothing.
I'll send the group the scope that I received from the architect.
Right. Good, perfect.
But they will do, first they're going to do what they call it programming, which is basically, they revisit the assessment they did in 2016 that Dana was talking about and kind of update that based on, what's the current facilities look like and what are the needs there. And then they actually speak with, stakeholders about what sort of things they're looking for out of the next building. Then they do, actual site survey and, looking at, wetlands delineation and other things of that nature to kind of figure out what locations are available. And then they'll put together, the conceptual, very, very base conceptual design of what you could do at each one of those that meet the programming needs. So they might have a recommendation but I think it's really a public process to kind of see what the town, prefers out of those options.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. All right. So we got that one. I don't know what this one is. Dog bylaw.
I'll do it.
Whatever it is, you'll do it.
Yeah.
My dog is known to the local police.
Oh, she wants to get on the good side.
That qualifies me. Yeah, I'll take it.
I thought I saw that picture up in the post office.
Right.
This one's pretty simple. Right now, our current dog bylaws have two different sets of fines, two different fine structures. One setup is for like leash law and those types of things, and the other one is dog feces, not picking up after your dog. So you have different sets of fines in the same bylaw. We want to clean that up and just have one set that applies to all the laws, all the different bylaws. We also are we're defining doggy beach a little bit better, so that it's not the area behind the homes on Castle Road. It's from that point to the bank. So we're adding a little language there to better define, where doggy beach is. So fairly simple.
You may be able to say the word poop on town hall floor, legitimate.
I know. I gotta
I think that
Waste.
firefighter, that's me again, firefighter and reserve police.
Sure,
that's
Bob.
also,
Just throw me into the,
Do you not want these, Peter?
no, I don't care. No, actually, I don't. I mean, so just kind of clarification, Tony. So 30 and 31 are lowlands,
yes,
and you are scheduling a meeting with the locals of
yes,
the lowlands. Okay.
yes,
Okay, and the thought here is that one of the two should go forward and the other should be dropped.
yes,
Well, the town stormwater improvements is a all encompassing. I mean, it's lowlands, but it's other areas as well, Tony, is it not?
no, it's focused on lowlands, but it expands through the entire drainage system that goes all the way to Bear Pond. But the
Okay.
idea of the scope of the engineering study that's occurring right now is based on how to improve stormwater relief in the lowlands area.
Okay, so, and that's the study that's going on now is from the town article from last year, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Now, do our recommendations or not recommended handle citizen petitions exactly like all the other articles?
That was a huge conversation last year. And I don't know that
Well, in December, your initial meetings this year, you put together a policy, a committee policy about, what elements are required of a citizen petition in order to get a recommendation or a comment from the FinCom. So
that's a good starting spot.
yeah. And
Judy did that. Judy wrote that up for us.
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
And
that's also, it depends on what the committee wants to do. So we're not locked into anything there.
and you're gonna want to add another article. Maybe it's probably gonna come right before stormwater improvements, but you can add it to the bottom for now. And it's gonna be climate change preparedness.
Excellent. Good to hear.
So this article is just gonna be authorization to borrow 500,000 to be used for professional services and grant matching for coastal climate change preparedness projects. And basically, we're not going to borrow this money unless we have some sort of, unless we are using it to pay for an engineer to kind of get us into a more competitive spot for a grant application. And by having this authorization, our application is more competitive right out of the gate. When a lot of these grant programs, which we understand that CZM has a ton of ARPA funds that they're going to be using for climate change projects. And we want to put the town in a position to be as competitive as possible when those grants come available. So usually they ask you in the application, you know, there's a match required here. Do you have the approval of the town for your matching funds? If this passes, I can say yes, and that bumps us right up the list.
Okay, and can the wording of the article restrict? Well, we can restrict it to the purpose. It has to be used for climate change. But can we also restrict it to say, you know, this can only be used if we are responding to a specific grant?
Or
Well, we could put the purpose, you could word the purpose so that it does that.
Yeah, okay, that would do it.
I'll work with you on the language to make sure you guys are comfortable. I do want to have some flexibility with it so that we can use it for, well, yeah, I mean, anything related to the grant is really it. So like if I wanted to have an engineer, you know, design a project and kind of usher it through the grant process and have that funds available for matching should we get the grant, that's this type of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah. So to me, there's kind of two things that we may want to restrict it with. One would be, it has to be used for climate change, obviously. And the other, there has to be a grant identified.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Does
I would
anyone-
I like that. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Is anyone feeling slighted or underworked here that wants to?
Oh, I was going to ask that, is there any rhyme or reason to, or any type of leveling of who present, and I don't know, I'm simply asking because I'm new. I mean, is there any, you know, I mean, theoretically, somebody could get up and, you know, rattle these all off, but obviously we're working as a team. I didn't know if there was some, you know, something that we should try and level out who does what.
Yeah, my only scheme here was if you were the liaison to a department and the
Right.
article kind of related to that department, then it would make sense for you to do the article.
Right, right.
But other
Makes
than
sense.
that, no.
Yeah.
I guess I'm mentally trying to level workload as well, but
Right.
that's an
mean, I'm-
inexact science.
I'm kind of looking up and down the list just to see, I mean, my name's there a lot, Dana's there a lot. Yeah, I'm just trying to level it up.
Judy isn't there very much,
Yeah,
I noticed.
So you think
Peter,
Judy?
you kept volunteering for stuff.
yeah, I know. I got a big mouth.
You were.
All right, so Judy just volunteered for it, I guess.
Yeah. And then a continuing committees is the same. I mean, I think you could probably just copy and paste from last year, right?
Yeah, actually, there's a bunch of them that you can copy and paste from last year.
Yeah, the one exception on the continuing committees, and I'm going to ask this, Tony, Coast Guard housing. Is that a committee that should continue?
I guess I would continue it until, you know, the job is completely done. I mean, there's no hurt in continuing it. It's not, you don't have to meet unless it's necessary, but if you don't continue it and then you did have to meet, you'd be.
Yeah, okay. All right, just checking.
Okay, good. We filled in every one of these. Awesome.
Well, I see Omnibus. Is that the one that, and I just remember poor John Fulgham last year, is that the one where you have to read all of the numbers?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not volunteering for that one. Just putting it out there.
Right. Yeah, and there's no real written recommendation on it.
Right.
Um,
It's just
but-
you have to read that whole thing.
Yeah, but somebody has to stand up and read the whole thing. I mean, we could be really radical and split the duty somehow, have somebody read half of it. Well, can you do that?
It would probably just be confusing if you did that.
Yeah, yeah. I
Right.
mean,
Maybe we should just come up with some random way of doing it, assigning it.
Can you tell me what actually sort of thing it includes? For
that's the
example.
budget. That's the budget. That,
Oh, that's
It's
the- oh, all right.
It's
Oh, okay.
literally reading every line item of the budget, dollars and cents, like down to the last, I want to say at one point last year, I recall wanting to stand up and deliver a bottle of water to John because, I mean, it's that long.
So
It's like
how many
500,
line
right?
items? What level down does it go? How many line items are we talking?
here, let's look at last year's. Let me-
So it would be for each department, it would be the salary line and the operating expense
Oh,
line
okay,
and the
that was-
capital line.
That was my
Yeah.
question.
It's
So
very
it's like
detailed.
that tab 3 of your workbook.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's very long and very detailed. And am I correct that last year, certainly, Dave actually, the person who writes it and the person who reads it is not actually always the same.
Right.
That Dave assigns who's going to read it.
We
That's what
generally
happened.
do- Yeah, we've told Dave, I think this. Yeah, so this is the omnibus, right? So, oh yeah, this has
Yes. Yeah, and it's 3 pages,
at least, yeah, it's at least 3 pages. It's more.
4, 5.
Th-
Yeah.
That's it there.
Yeah, and you're reading every single line item.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. I mean, you go through this and you read general government, moderator, general expenses, $60, selectmen, salaries, wages, $3, general expenses, 142,000, and so forth and so on. So, and there's, my God, there's got to be 100 line items easily, I
Well,
bet.
maybe people could read, like each person could read a third or a quarter. You could split it up, as someone said.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work though, because it's a motion.
right.
Oh, right.
I don't, I think one person has to do it because it is a motion.
Yeah, oh, this is revenue. This is the revenue side. We don't read that. And this is probably the end of revenue. So yes, it begins. Don't read those. So it begins here. There's page 1. Read that. We read that. Gosh. Do we read this? Yeah, we read this too.
Yeah, I just remember it being really long.
Oh, it is. Absolutely, it is. So 142 lines. And this is the one where if any of the citizens want to discuss or change something, they
They
holler
say
out pass.
Pass,
at
right.
that line item.
Yeah.
But we,
Allison, oh, sorry, go ahead.
we don't have to decide now who is going to read it. And what we do is when we vote the budget, that is essentially approving this this article. This article is this budget.
Thank you. I have a question for you. Maybe Allison, do you know if there are copies at the town hall of available of last year's warrant? The book?
I have electronic copies that I'm happy
Oh.
to send.
Oh, could you, that would be wonderful if you could,
Sure.
so I can just.
And
this sort of template. Yeah.
it's in the Dropbox as well.
Oh, it is
Right.
already, oh, then never mind, I've got it.
So
I mean, the difference is that what's in the warrant is not the actual motion. And I'm wondering, is there a copy of the motions that were made last year?
I
Yes,
have that as well, Peter.
That's what I
I can
mean.
send you
Thank you.
that. Mhm.
Thank you, Peter. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
talking about.
Okay. If you want last year's book, it's in this folder called FY22 and then cleverly entitled Final FY22 book.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
What's other documents? Would that be the motions?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because like you said, a lot of these are going to be copy and paste, and if we had those motions, it would save us some time.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you get the motions. You got the motions last year before town meeting. I think, sorry, my son is screaming in the background.
Okay.
I'm not sure. You might have received it like a few days before town meeting, but we draft the motions. So I'm happy to provide you with the copy from last year.
Oh,
Would love to
okay.
see
Okay, I'm good then.
So the finance committee's not drafting the motions. You're only doing the recommendations. Tony and I draft the motions.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to say somebody else prepares the script.
Okay.
And it's like almost literally a script of,
Mhm.
It'll have your name next to the article, and then it'll have the language of the motion that you read, and we provide you with a copy to read at town meeting.
Right. And the only thing is, once we get it into the kind of the meat of it, the FinCom will have discussions on whether we're going to recommend or not
Recommend it.
recommend.
Yep.
And then the person, that list that we just went over, that person will have to write the recommendation.
correct.
We recommend this because.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly right.
But it's very important. We cannot change a single word in the motion.
Correct.
We
Right.
get given the
Right.
motion. We cannot change any wording in the motion. We write the recommendation, Peter, you're right, but we cannot change the motion in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So that warrant book that's online also, it's the full thing, and it contains the recommendations as well, so I can use those as a template.
Yes.
Okay,
What's online here is what I was showing you here.
oh, okay, I can't quite read it, but
Yeah,
anyway, I'll check it out as soon as, I'll check it out.
it's the whole book, even with the.
Oh,
pictures of
perfect, oh,
cool people.
excellent. Think
It's
of everything.
the whole book. I was going to say something. Oh, and since we're talking about process, there's typically a meeting with the selectmen, the moderator, and ourselves shortly before town meeting, usually, like Thursday night before town meeting, where we run through the entire set of articles, almost like it's not a dress rehearsal, but it's a walkthrough of town meeting. And we make sure everybody knows who's doing what, and we make sure everybody understands what vote is required for each of the articles. So some are a simple majority, some are a 2/3, and so forth. And
Right.
so that happens usually like Wednesday or Thursday prior to town meeting. And that's what I wanted to get done tonight.
Public forum?
Yeah, public forum, or, I think it's premature to actually vote any of these.
I have an announcement.
Uh-oh, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, he's smiling, so I guess it's okay.
I just came from the CPC committee meeting and informed them that we've asked them to temporarily withdraw our application on 9 Little Nahant Road. So it's, being put on the shelf. There's so many unknowns with that project right now. And we really couldn't provide a sound, informative financial analysis because, one of the biggest cost of the project would be the actual purchase price of the property. And that's going to be either determined by auction or a future negotiation, if it even gets to that point. So, we said, why don't we hold off? We're not going to participate in the auction, even if it were to occur after town meeting, because it's so, the results unknown even still. And if it fails and HUD comes to the town, we'll make it clear to them that, any negotiation that we have with them would be, pending approval of town meeting. And, maybe it's a special town meeting to address it, but there's a lot of boxes that would have to be checked before we even got to that point. So, that's probably one of the, the most controversial issue that I was expecting to draw a crowd for this year's town meeting, and it's not going to be on the warrant anymore. So, one
Tony,
less
would you
thing.
please explain, I'm taking minutes. The 9 Nahant Road.
9
is-
Little Knot. Explain what the project is.
Yes,
It's
Was.
what it was. It's a 1800s home on Little Nahant that is one of the first homes ever built on Little Nahant. It's the old Howe estate, and it is going up for sale. There's deferred taxes that are owed to the town. There's a reverse mortgage owed to HUD. And so, because of its historic value, because of the lack of open space available in Little Nahant, and because of the deferred taxes owed to the town, and the fact that those deferred taxes may be a challenge for us to recoup, we felt it was important for us to kind of put our name in the hat, get involved in it, and potentially purchase a property for either historic preservation or open space.
That's not a, a site that's on a historical preservation, like it's not a national historical site or anything like that. It's just, it's an
No,
old,
the home is eligible. It's eligible for the National Register, but it's not in it.
what makes it eligible? It's state?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And the characteristics of the home.
All right. Okay, so now we know.
so what you're saying is that's not going to be coming up, correct?
Correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That was a good explanation. Thank you.
So what will occur? How does owed a reverse mortgage?
They get paid first.
They get paid
Right.
first.
Well, we're gonna fight for our, if the property sells, we'll be pushing and fighting to recoup, what's owed to the town.
Okay. But HUD owns the title then because of the reverse mortgage.
Actually, the estate owns the property. And that's why it's got to go to auction before HUD could potentially, if the auction failed, then HUD takes ownership of the property, and then HUD could negotiate a direct sale.
But doesn't taxes supersede a mortgage?
So these are deferred taxes allowed because of the senior deferment law.
Ah,
These are not unpaid taxes.
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Well, they're unpaid, but they were deferred. It's not outstanding.
Right.
I don't know how to,
Yeah,
what the terminology is.
And just as an FYI, guys, the outstanding taxes, a lot of it's interest. More than half of it, I think, is interest. Tony, correct me on that one, but, so.
Yeah, same with HUD's amount, so. HUD's owed 1.06 million, I think. Just a little under half of that is the actual reverse mortgage.
The
then-
principal portion.
Yeah, and then for the town, I think we're owed about $450,000. And just under half of that, I think, is the actual amount of deferred taxes.
Tony, not to belabor this, but could I just throw a question? This is sorry for the gee whiz question, but how did they get a reverse mortgage when they weren't paying their property taxes? So which came first, the reverse mortgage or going into the program of deferring property taxes?
The deferred taxes came first, like 10 years before the reverse mortgage happened.
So how could a reverse mortgage be granted in that case?
Yeah, who would?
It seems like something's wrong there, but it's a gee whiz question. I know you don't know the answer, so.
I can say that, I don't know the answer, but that we are going to make a case, in front of a judge or jury at some point, I assume, or through negotiation that, that the intent of the law was not to shortchange a municipality. And that's how it's being read. And, we're arguing that it really shouldn't be read that way.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, but title is held right now by the estate. So if they hold the title, they could sell it. And I guess then the question becomes, okay, do they have to make whole the town and or HUD? We're gonna let some smart lawyers figure this out.
Yeah. I mean, for us, the biggest thing is, like, CPC was asking if we would consider splitting the costs, borrow half of it through the town and half of it through CPC. They were asking what the financial impacts of that would be. Without having a final price, it was really hard to provide, concrete analysis and be able to answer the questions that were being asked of us. And especially from those who, there are folks in town and some, in the neighborhood that, opposed to the town getting involved at all. And it got really difficult for us to answer their questions because we don't know what the final price of the property is going to be. I could say that, our hope was, or our original thought was, if we're going to be shortchanged on how much we're owed, then maybe we could get the property for a good deal and, be able to either preserve the property or create a park. So, the intent there was to do right by the town. It still is. There's just too many unknowns to go to town meeting and ask the resident to make a vote, yes or no, without having a set price. So it makes sense to put it on the shelf for now.
Okay. All right, so we're not going to see an article. We're not going to even see it in CPC.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, I got it. Everybody else okay?
Also, we are going to open the town meeting this year with a presentation to firefighter Papalardo and Canty and Officer Spelta. And we will be presenting them with life-saving badges. I don't know, for those of you that don't know, there was a fire in town back in December where the three of them were the first on scene, and they literally saved the lives of the two folks that were inside the house. So we're gonna open the town meeting with a little ceremony to present those badges to them.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Nice.
All right, so for this evening, are any more comments, questions about that list of articles and what needs to be done?
You're going to send it to us, right?
I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to post it in the Dropbox as well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay,
Cool.
motion to adjourn then?
Well, we have to ask our one member of the public, which is Austin. Austin, are you, questions, comments, anything?
I don't have anything other than the Lynn will be ready for your meeting on Wednesday. All of the CPC's recommendations are done.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dana, I think your motion is in order.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, and I'm gonna just jump in and say Vanderslice, aye.
She and I,
Katie, aye.
Lauren, I.
Barbara, aye.
she and I.
All right, excellent. Then I will see you all Wednesday via the new clickable link.
Yes.
Hey.
All
And now I
righty.
can go watch Benjamin Franklin.
What?
There's a special, Ken Burns has a
Oh,
new
really?
special that's starting tonight
At what
on
time?
PBS on Benjamin Franklin, and it's supposed to be
8.
super interesting.
At
It
9
started
o'clock?
at 8. I think it started at 8.
Just started. So
Oh,
I'm
all right.
gonna-
All right, good night.
All
Good
right.
night, everyone.
Good night. See you.
Bye.